lost that kind of. Give me that paper. I need the numbers again. Meeting ID. Nine, 6, 4, 8, 3, shit. Invalid meeting. So type something. Okay. Join them. Meeting ID. Okay, we go. 8, 6,
Your retirement.
4.
Thank
Nice
you.
picture. Nice picture online.
Thank you.
With the frogs and everything.
Yeah.
What's with the frogs?
And you have to ask Bonnie.
Oh, oh, okay.
2, 4, meeting task 6, 7, 7, 5, 8, 8. Okay, now. Two more minutes. Come on. And then this is gonna fix it. Look how this is high, this is there. Excellent. Do you get to
One minute to Black Star. Yeah, in a few more weeks. Nice, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Steve Schuster, Simmer. Yeah. Thinking. Now I don't know what happened. Look at the camera of the room.
Okay, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We are going to begin this very special service in significant understanding of how our years as they multiply can continue to be blessings. And we'll also have a blessing over our talit. So if you're wearing a talit and have not yet put it on, please rise. We'll say the bracha together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehit atef b'tzitzit. Please be seated, and our service begins on page 14. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yeram hayam, Yeram hayam, Yeram hayam, umelo, Yeram hayam, Yeram hayam, Yeram hayam, umelo, Hoshea et amecha, Uvarech et nachlatecha, Ureim, 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 Ureim benasem ad haolam, Hoshea et amecha, Uvarech et nachlatecha, Ureim, 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 Ureim benasem ad haolam. Mizmor, Mizmor, Shir, Shir Liyom HaShabbat. 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 Mizmor, Shir, Shir Liyom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Shir, Shir Liyom HaShabbat. Tzadik Adamar Yifrach, Yifrach, Tzadik Adamar Yifrach, Tzadik Adamar Yifrach, Yifrach, Tzadik Adamar Yifrach, Ki Erez Balvanon Yizge, Ki Erez Balvanon Yizge, Ki Erez Balvanon Yizge, Yizge, Ki Erez Balvanon Yizge, Ki Erez Balvanon Yizge, Ki Erez Balvanon. Mayim, Mayim Rabim Adirim, Mishpareyam, Adir Bamarom Adonai, La 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 la, Ya la 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 la, Ya la 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 la, Ya la 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 la, Ya la 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 la. La 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 Alechutecha, Machut Kol Olamim, Umemshatecha, Bechol Edor Vador, Malchutecha, Machut Kol Olamim, Umemshatecha, Bechol Edor Vador, Malchutcha, Machut Kol Olamim, Umemshatecha, Bechol Edor Vador, Malchutcha, Machut Kol Olamim, Umemshatecha, Bechol Dor Vador. ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. הללויה, 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 הללויה. Hallelujah, hallelujah, v'tiltelei shama. Hallelujah, hallelujah, v'tiltelei trua. Kol anshama de hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol anshama de hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Please rise. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. We are on page 16. El Adon al kol ha'ma'asim, baruch u'mvorach befi kol neshama, gan lo v'tuvo malei olam, da'ad v'vuna sovevim oto. Amigdael chayot hakodesh, v'nedar b'chavod al hamerkava, zechud u'mishor lifnei chiso, esed v'rachamim lifnei chivodo, tovei me'orot shebara Eloheinu yitzaro, v'da'at v'mina u'vazgel koach u'gvura, natan b'hem liot moslim b'kerev leida, maleim ziv u'mavikim noga, na'ezivam b'chol ha'olam, mechin etzetam ezasim bevoam, usim b'hem haritzon konam, be'erech avod notnim lishmo, kol haverina bezecher malchuto, karal hashemesh vayizrach orah ve'hitim surat havana. Sheva chanot nimlo, kol tzeva marot, tiferet u'gedulas rafim v'yochanim chayot kodesh. La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 lie, 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 lie. I want to remind you, Harvey's in the house, so we do Harvey's or Chadash. Or Chadash, Atzion Da'ir V'nizkeh, Kulanu Meira Le'arot. Or Chadash, Atzion Da'ir V'nizkeh, nizke ulanu meira leorod Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer hamiorot Ahava rabba ahtanu Adonai Eloheinu chem lagidol aviteirach hamaka aleinu Avinu malkeinu ba'avur avoteinu shebatchu lecha Avinu malkeinu Lamdeim chukei chayim Ein tichaneinu lamdeinu Avinu ha'avarachaman Amrachem rachem aleinu V'beinu libeinu lehavinu Laskil lishmo Ahalil modu lelamed Lishmor velasot Kol kayem et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha b'ahava V'ha'erenu b'toratecha V'na'abek limeinu b'mitzvotecha V'yached levaveinu V'yahava u'le'ira et shemecha V'lo Le'olam va'et V'lo nevosh Le'olam va'et Ki v'shem kodecha Hagadol v'hanora b'tachnu Nagila v'nismecha Nagila v'nismecha v'shuatecha. So as you know, at this point, we gather our tzitzit. I wanted to show you my new talis. So this talit that I'm wearing is a gift from the school. And it's a gift from the school, and you can see here, it's got my name on it, Rabbi David Vorspan, and it says here, founding rabbi 2002 to 2022. Now, this is the talit that all of our graduates get. And they've been getting this for 16 years now because the school's been around for 20 years. It was designed, and especially I want you to note this at Torah by our, at that time, artistic director, Benny Ferdman, and the tzitzit that you see here are all tied, if we can convince the parents of the graduates to do that, by the parents. And then they are given this right before the graduation ceremony, and then all the kids wear this at their graduation. Bonnie is one of those people, the primary person that instructs everybody into how to tie the tzitzit. And as part of the graduation ceremony, this talit was given to me by the school as one of the gifts that they gave me. And it's been a really wonderful farewell tour that the school has been providing for me. And Bonnie has been very instrumental in thinking of the lovely ways in which I can get these lovely gifts, like this lovely talit. So this is the story of the talit. And now we're going to gather our tzitzit. We are at the bottom of page 16. V'havienu l'shalom mirbakan fota'aretz v'tolichenu komim v'yarseinu el po'el yeshuot ata uvanu v'chartam mikolam v'lashon v'kerevtanu l'shimcha gadosela be'emet lahodot lecha u'liachetcha b'yahava baruch ata Adonai habocher b'yamo Yisrael b'ahava Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the children of Israel and bid them to make tzitzit in the corners of their garments throughout their generations, putting upon the tzitzit of each corner a thread of blue. When you look upon the tzitzit, you will be reminded of all the commandments of the Lord and obey them. You will not be led astray by the inclination of your heart or by the attraction of your eyes. Thus will you be reminded to fulfill all my commandments and be consecrated to your God. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I, the Lord, am your God." Azot, shibechu ahuvim, shibechu ahuvim. V'romemu, 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 v'romemu el. V'natenu, v'natenu yedidim. V'natenu, v'natenu yedidim. Zmirot, shirot, v'tishbachot, v'rachot, v'hodaot, lemelech el chai v'kayam, ram v'nisa, gadol v'nora, mashpil ge'im, umagbi ashefalim. Motzi asiri mufode anavim yozer dalim. V'yoneliam o b'yet shavam elav. Tehilo elyon baruch mevorach Moshe u'bnei Yisrael lechan v'shira v'simcha rabah v'yamaru chulam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Shira chadasha shebechu geulim l'shimcha asfat hayam, yachad kulam hoduvim lichu v'yamaru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. So we are going to pause for a few minutes because we're heading into the section of our service when we express thankfulness. The prayers are for our own personal thankfulness and gratitude, but we begin with communal thankfulness. This is birthday Shabbat. We have a holdover from last month, and I think that we're going to start a new tradition here at Shir Ami, and that is if you reach your 100th birthday or more, you get to be singled out with the real happy birthday song. And so we're going to actually sing to Harvey in honor of his 100th birthday, the birthday song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Harvey. Happy birthday to you and many more. Happy birthday, Harvey. Let that be an incentive to all of you. You get to 100th, we'll mention your name at services as well. We've never done that before, by the way, in all the years of our shul. But we're now also going to be celebrating our other birthdays for this month. We have of the people who are here, Jay Cohen is celebrating a birthday. Stan Rosenbluth celebrating a birthday. Helga Unkelis, happy birthday to Helga. David Lipman, happy birthday to David. Is there anybody who is celebrating a birthday and I didn't mention you? Let's sing all of them a happy birthday. Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach. Many, many more happy birthday to all of you. Let us now open it up to what you are thankful for. And who'd like to start? Sherry.
I'm thankful that my dad is here for his belated 100th birthday. I'm thankful for the well-being and health of my family and the well-being and health of all the good people in the world.
Nice. Who else would like to share? Okay.
I'm thankful for the ladies who set up this wonderful repast, our kiddush. It's a big job. And I know they're not as young as they used to be. And I appreciate what they do.
Yes, for all of us. Lou.
I'm grateful that a couple of weeks ago, we had our San Diego kids and grandkids visit with us and our granddog. And it was just great to be with them. And it was wonderful and just had a great time.
Thank you, Lou. Who else would like to share? Sue?
2 days ago, 2 of our grandsons graduated from elementary and to middle school. So they're on to new horizons.
Very nice. Mazel tov.
And I would like to thank my brother David for coming over and making my sprinklers work because they're going to be gone for 5.5 weeks and I hate to run out there all the time and fiddle with it. So it's fixed. Thank you.
You said for twice a week? Right?
No, we're twice.
Oh, is it once a week? No, but you told me I had to do it.
City of LA, it's twice a week.
Michael.
Okay, I told everybody I wasn't going to be here this week. I was going to be in Las Vegas for a family reunion. My wife went to the emergency room and was admitted, so I canceled my trip. But what I'm thankful for is that she's feeling better, not completely well, but better than when she was, than she was at the beginning of the week. I want to throw in a little story for when I first showed up. I used to buy tickets for high holidays, different places. I showed up. And the first 2 people I met and got to know here were Harvey and Clara. Hi, Clara. And they didn't scare me off. And here I still am.
Very nice. Thank you.
I can do it. I'd like to share the Kirschbaum's 60th anniversary, which is a day late, $1 short, but I didn't know if they were going to be on here. They're 60 years together, mostly in love.
Thank you. Who else would like to share what you are thankful for? Some of you may, Bonnie.
Well, I'm thankful that we've had 4 graduations actually in the last 2 weeks. Ellen Gavi graduated the first Thursday of the month, and David graduated with them. After 20 years, he received his high school diploma from D. Toledo. And then Evan graduated from the 6th grade at Valley Beth Shalom and will be going on to Milken. And I also want to add that Davida has now taken over the production of these Talitot the last 3 years. And so it was very special for her that she made one especially for David and kept it a secret all these months.
Yes, thank you. Who else would like to share what you are thankful for, Harvey?
I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm especially thankful for Sherry and Lee and my son and daughter-in-law, Steve and Nancy. They share me. I don't know whether it's to welcome me in or to get rid of me for a week or 2 at a time. But anyway, it works out well for me. And I feel very well accepted in both places. And to have a small but fantastic family of two children, two grandchildren, and two great-grandchildren, all very close, all very loving, and you can't buy that. So, and then to finally come back here and to my other family, I don't know how long it's been, but yeah, but it's been a couple of years since I was here, and I still remembered all the words to the. I guess you can't lose it, but anyway, I just wish that everyone can get to be 100. And as my doctor said, I told him last time I saw him that I was lucky because my heart was strong, and that's the most important thing. He said, no, 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 your brain is the most important thing. He says, if you don't have that, you don't have anything. So, and so I consider myself very fortunate that I still, Anyway, thank you.
He still has his hearing too. So. Thank you, Harvey. That was lovely. That was lovely. And now it's been recorded for posterity. So thank you. Before we have Stan come and share, is anybody on the screen who would like, this is called our, what do we call this? The wall. Anybody on the wall? Clara Rosenbluth, your hand would like to share with us.
Yes, I'm thankful that on Tuesday we'll be celebrating Stan's 94th birthday. And also thankful that our great granddaughter finished middle school and with a 4.3 average and a number of awards. And in the fall, she'll be going to high school.
That's tough. Very nice. Anybody else on the wall would like to share what you are thankful for? Wave at the camera so we can make sure to see you. Okay. Anybody else here? Okay. Stan Schroeder, please share.
Thank you. Thank you. What a pleasure, what an honor actually to have this opportunity each Shabbat service that we do, and to have this occasion of Harvey's 100th birthday last month. And I'm hoping that he can have many more because we're going to do this again. To get this many people here for our Shabbat service, a blessing in itself. And so a couple of things that I wanted to say in, kind of my behalf. I want to look forward to holidays coming up in this next week. We have on the next Tuesday, Flag Day, and we have a week from Sunday, Father's Day, that we celebrate. And Phyllis reminded me that there's another holiday that's what's it called, Phyllis? It's called June, right? And so this is celebrating the the end of the Civil War and the freeing of the slaves. And it actually was started in 1865, but President Biden made it a national holiday last year. So that's on the same day as it turns out this year, on the 19th, the Juneteenth, and it's on the 19th. So that's also we'll celebrate. And I wanted to say a few things about Congregation Shir Ami itself. I looked it up because of Harvey's birthday, and I looked up on the internet and I found a photograph that read, February 3rd, 1962. This reads, final preparations for the dedication of Temple Beth Ami, 18449 Kittredge Street, Reseda, made, and it talked about the number of people that were involved, including Rabbi Margolis and Mark Neeson, who was the president of the congregation at that time. And there were going to be ceremonies and celebration the following week. Then going ahead, May 21st, 1994, Congregation Beth Kodesh of West Hills favored the merger 254 to 124. Temple Beth Ami of Reseda approved the proposal 145 to 50. I don't remember, I wasn't there, but whatever happened following that, the next, really significant date then was 1998, when some number of people left the congregation Shir Ami, Shomoi Torah, and now here we are. Harvey, do you have any recollections of any of that? It's been part of Harvey's life. It's been part of my life now for 20 years. So, we feel blessed. And in this Torah portion coming up, we're going to talk about the priestly Torah blessing and how we're all blessed. We're blessed in 3 phases, according to Rabbi Feinstein this morning. We have enough. We should be thankful we have enough. We should be thankful that we know that we have enough. And we should be thankful that we don't want any more. Thank you.
Thank you, Stan. Thank you. Lovely. And of course, Harvey remembers what happened because he was our first president of our congregation. So we'll let us now turn to the bottom of page 18 and yes. Oh, no, this mic is not for you. This mic is only for them. Okay. Yeah, we thought in a small room like this, we probably wouldn't need amplification, and it's not really built for amplification. So, yeah, so this system only goes to the people who are there. So let us all please rise, and we are going to prepare to say our prayers of thankfulness. Tor Yisrael, Kuma B'Ezrat Yisrael, Ufenei Chinumeha, Yehuda B'Yisrael, Aleinu Adonai Sabaoth Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. And we continue quietly. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Chen V'Chesed Chesed V'Rachamim Aleinu V'Al Kol Aleinu V'Al Kol Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael Amecha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Chen v'chesed v'rachamim Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Chen v'chesed v'rachamim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael Amecha Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael Amecha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Chen v'chesed v'rachamim Ose shalom, shalom, shalom Bimrom avuya Ase shalom Aleinu Ose shalom, shalom, shalom Bimrom avuya Ase shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. Please be seated. Yitkadav Yitkadav Shemei Rabbah. B'yam ha'ani brachi rutei v'yom lichmachutei b'chai yechonu v'yom echonu b'chai d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kari v'yimeru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach li'olam li'ol me'ol maya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpoar v'trumah v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yilal shemei d'kudashah Brichu leilam kol b'chatav v'shorata tush b'chatav v'nechmata da'amiran b'yom v'yimeru. Amen. Titkabes l'hanvahon d'chol Yisrael kadam avon v'shmai v'yimeru. Amen. Yesh l'marabah mitchamayim v'cheim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom dimromav u'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. We've come to the Torah service. Let's give out some honors. Who would like to recite the brachot and carry the Torah through the congregation? Lou, thank you. Who would like the Hagbah honor? Pick up the Torah, Mo. And who would like the Galila honor? Wrap the Torah, bind the Torah. No Hebrew necessary. Okay, very good. Thank you. We'll continue our service on the bottom of page 19. Ein kamocha ba'Elohim Adonai v'ein kemasecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch leolam vahed Adonai oz liamo yitein Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom Av harachamim eitiv avirtzonecha et Zion Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Kevecha levad batachnu Melech el ram v'nisa Adon olamim Vayehi binto Aaron, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, V'yafutzu oivecha, V'yanusu misanecha, mipanecha, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion Tetzei Torah Udevar Adonai Mirushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato Be'be'an Arachetz Ve'lishmei Kadisha Kadisha Yakira Ana Amaretush Bechan Be'an Arachetz Be'an Arachetz Velishmei Kadisha Kadisha Yakira Anna Amartus Bechan Yehi Rava Kadamach Tetiftach Libi Bioraita Mitashli Mishalim Delibi Veli Badecholama Yisrael Letav
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadalu Adonai Iti, Ularoma Shemo Yachdav.
Adonai Hagedula v'Hagivura v'Hatiferet v'Hanetzach v'Hahod. Kikol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, Kikol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Adonai hamamlacha v'hamid na'aseh lechol eretz. Netzion teitei Torah. Netzion teitei Torah. Netzion, Netzion, Netzion teitei Torah. Netzion teitei Torah. For a portion is called not so. We begin with the brachot. Okay, everybody point right here with your pinky or your talit. Let's say the brachot together. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavarach. Baruch Adonai hamavarach leolam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. Venatan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, naso et rosh, b'nei Gershon gam hem, levet avotam lemishbechotam, mi ben shloshim shana v'mala, ad ben chamishim shana tifkod otam, Kol haba litzvot tzava la'avod avoda be'ohel moed. Zot avodat mishpechot hagershoni la'avod umasa.
Point right here again. Kiss. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah. Yes, God. Please be seated. The part of the Torah portion that Stan alluded to was what we call the priestly blessing, Birkat Kohanim. And the priestly blessing is at 3 parts. May God bless you and keep you. The Hebrew is Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. 5 words and then 7 words and then 9 words and 3 words and then 5 words and then 7 words. And that priestly blessing is one of only 2 blessings in the entire Torah. And the question is, what does it mean? May God bless you and keep you. May God cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift up his face unto you and give you peace. What is that all about? And it's important that we figure this out because it's something that I have with my wife been saying every Friday night for more than 40 years to our children. From the day that Alicia came home, that Friday night, something that we had been so anticipating, we began the process of saying those words to her. And we have said them to her, and then to her brother, and then to her sister. So all 3 of our kids, and then their children and their spouses, we have been saying those words to them every Friday night for more than 40 years without a break. Now, obviously, they're not always going to be gathered around us to be able to have us put our hands on their heads and bestow the blessing upon them that way. Sometimes we will send it long distance, send our prayers to them where we point in the direction we think they are in the world. And we also have, just to remind us, we have a photograph of our children and grandchildren and their spouses on a photograph on the table. We put it on our Shabbat table and we point to the photograph and we throw blessings through the photograph, but they have never been neglected. They have never been forgotten. And I think that kids really like the idea of being blessed that way. And in fact, maybe congregations like to be blessed that way as well, because there is a ceremony that Beth Ami used to do, Temple Beth Ami used to do, called the Duchening ceremony. You may remember on the high holidays, we used to have all of the Kohanim who felt comfortable doing this. They would come up to the front of the congregation during the service, when in the Amida, we got to the part when there was the priestly blessing, and they would take their talit and bring it over their heads. And then they would do the spa, right? So this is the Dr. Spock sign, right? So this could be the shin for the blessing for Shaddai, for God's name. And then they would bring the talit over their head, and they would, and that's why Spock does this. Prosper. What is it? He says, live long and prosper, because he was a Kohen. Leonard Nimoy was a Kohen. And he said, wouldn't it be nice if we included that as something that Mr. Spock does? And so that's how it became part of that series. And so when the Kohanim did it, they would put their hands over in front of the congregation, bring the talit over their head, and then Yevarechecha Adonai, and then everybody would go, you remember that? And it was a very majestic moment. And in fact, kids were sometimes would be gathered to their parents under their talit, and they would be shielded from looking at the Kohanim who were up there blessing everybody, because according to our tradition, when you say those words, you're not supposed to look at the Kohen. You have to avert your eyes, close your eyes, and cover your kids' eyes in order to show that the Kohanim, the priests, are merely a conduit of the blessing from God. And when you look at the people saying the blessing, it makes it appear like they're giving the blessing, but they aren't. And so that's why traditionally you don't look at the Kohanim. There are other rules involved. We stopped doing that, by the way. The whole priestly clan is something that in the conservative movement in particular, we're starting to get away with. Part of the reason is because according to tradition, all Kohanim are suspect. Theoretically, except this one here, he's not a suspect of anything. Theoretically, you have to be a descendant of Aaron and his children, and that line has to be unblemished going back 3,000 years. Nobody can do that. And in fact, there are a lot of people who said, you know the old joke about Moshe, and he went to the rabbi and he said, Rabbi, I want to be a Cohen. And the rabbi said, well, you know, it doesn't work that way. He said, no, it's really important to me. I want to be a Cohen. Well, that's not how it works. No, please, I will make $1 million donation to the shul if you let me make me a Cohen. So the rabbi said, well, let me see what I can do. So the following Shabbat, the congregation gathers and the blessing is made in Yamod HaKohen, may the Kohen rise, and the blessing is bestowed upon him. And then after services, the rabbi took Moshe aside and he said, I don't understand. Why was it so important for you to be a Kohen that you gave $1 million donation to the shul? He said, look, my father was a Kohen, my grandfather was a Kohen. I wanted to be a Kohen too. But you see, it's automatic. It's bestowed automatically. So I don't think they gave the money back. I think it's a terrible joke. I don't even like telling it. It doesn't make the rabbi look so. At least he didn't keep the money himself. But the idea of the priestly blessing, according to some of the laws, the Kohanim are not allowed, when they do make this blessing, to do it when they are inebriated. They can't do it if it's shortly after the death of a relative. Every Kohen who is present in the congregation, and again, all Kohanim are suspect. I knew a Rabbi Cohen who told me he was a Levi, but I knew a Rabbi Levi who said he was a Cohen. So how do you know if you're a Kohen or you're not? If your father told you. And it's very possible that through 3,000 years, there was some assimilated family where the father decided not to tell the son, and it stopped. Maybe something that had been going on passed through the family for a generation, and it stops because of the ignorance that in the assimilation levels. Other people decide, hey, I like the idea of being a Kohen, and then they suddenly say, how do you prove it? I understand there may be a DNA test now, right? So you come up for the honor of the first Aliyah, right? Always was given we have to take a swab, you know. All right, you're approved. You can go ahead and say the first blessing. So there are certain honors that the Kohen got, but after a while, especially recently, to be a Kohen meant that you also had to assume certain responsibilities in order to be that Kohen. And that meant about how you live your Jewish life. And a lot of people are not living a particularly meritorious life or a particularly Jewish life. And then to say, okay, you get to have the first Aliyah because your last name sounds like Cohen or Kaplan or Kaplansky or one of the derivatives of that, just no longer seems fair. And so that's why, especially in the conservative movement, we've moved away from calling people up as being Kohens and Levis. So I want to share with you then some of the lessons of what the priestly blessing is. You heard one of them that Stan referred to. Let me break down the threefold blessing of the Kohanim and see if it can give us a little bit more instruction for all of us today. So the first words, Yevarechacha Adonai v'yishmarecha. So we've been translating that as, may the Lord bless you and keep you. And the rabbis, Rashi said that your goods may be blessed. And Abravanel, who commented on this, said what Rashi was saying was that the blessing is material, that you want to make sure that you are able to gather whatever material needs you need, not just to live a happy life, but also to be able to be charitable, to be able to have some time to study Torah. And so this whole idea of may God bless you, may God give you the opportunity to have material things, but then, and here's the key, but keep you from being controlled by your material things. And there is also the commentary of, may God bless you and keep you from having somebody come and take those material things away from you. Now, I can tell you, and especially because you're a savvy congregation, I suspect that when you get a phone call about a Nigerian prince, or you get an email that says, I'm in Paris and I've run out of money, can you please send me money? I'm an old relative of yours. I think most of you are savvy enough to know that you've got to be very careful about the people who want to separate you from your wealth. And people are using all sorts of very, very sophisticated ways of doing this. And if you are on the internet at all, you have to make sure that you are very, very cognizant of the things that you're clicking, the links that you are clicking, because sometimes you are ending up on somebody's list that they're selling to other companies so that they will then hound you to death. If you get a phone call and it seems to be, first of all, we never answer the phone, by the way. You should just know, if your name doesn't come up on our caller ID, we will not answer the phone. Now, it's very nice to know that every now and then it says suspected spam. And so we definitely will not answer that. You know, you can call a certain number and you can get on a list, and they will make sure that they are monitoring the calls that you receive. But if you receive a phone call and you're not sure who's calling because there's no caller ID, don't answer it. Because as soon as you answer it, you're starting a process that you might be starting a process that you might regret later. Just tell all of your family and all of your friends, just leave a message. If it's a legit call, we'll call you right back if we're home. And if not, please leave a message. So you should know that when you call Bonnie or you call me and your name doesn't come up, we will not answer the phone because we want to protect our wealth, just like the first part of the blessing says. But then the second part of the blessing is, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha vichuneka. May God make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. So if the first part of the blessing was all about material gain, this is all about spiritual gain. And the second part is all about illumination. God's face shining is an allusion to the idea that there is enlightenment. We want the shining face of God to be a source of enlightenment for us. What do we want to be enlightened about? We want to be enlightened about what we should be doing in the world. What is our task? What is our responsibility? Why were we put here? So part of life is trying to figure out what we're good at, but then the other part of life is applying to what we're good at so that we are of benefit. We become the blessing. So that's the second part of the priestly blessing. And then the last part is Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, that God should lift up God's face unto us and give us shalom. Now, I like the word shalom, peace, because what would life be like without peace? There's a reason why in the Birkat HaMazon, at the end of our prayer of thankfulness for the food that we have, there's a prayer for peace. And the reason is because when there's not peace, when there's war, when there's strife, our appetite should be lessened. When things are going well, and especially when in our family and amongst our friends, when there's a peacefulness, when people are getting along, when there's no tension, when there's no anxiety because of relationships, we know that life is better. And all the material and all of the spiritual gains that we may get from the first two parts of the blessing are of naught if our life is filled with the anxiousness that comes with lack of peace. We know in the world today how what's going on in Europe is affecting us at home. And we know that we need peace in order for the meal to taste good. We need peace as part of the priestly blessing so that our life can be good. And with that, we are going to now share our blessings of hope that people who are not well will be restored to full health and to full vigor. And so in a minute, I'm going to ask you to mention the names of people for our Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov Yimotenu Sarach Barachav Leah Hu Yavarech V'Rabbeinu Cholim. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal these who are sick. Just raise your hand and I'll call on you and just shout out the names. Thank you. So, thank you. Thank you, Mo. Thank you. Jay. Thank you, Paul.
Is the house? There.
Thank you. Nancy. Thank you. Thank you. Stan. Sheila. Thank you. Judy.
You put that back up. Put it back up.
I closed it. Leave it up here.
So those of you who are on screen, if you could wait a minute, I will make sure to ask you for names, but what you're saying now we can hear and we'll call on you in a second.
Jen Dollins and Olivia Dollins.
Thank you. Bonnie.
Ellen Lowe, Jane Apson, Linda Scharf, Nadav Sella, Bonnie Ritter, Nancy Arkin, Bob Stein.
Claire. Thank you. Other names that we have neglected. Okay, those of you on the wall, please wave at the camera and I'll call on you. Okay, the Bermans.
Yaakov Berish Ben Shoshana, Shana Malka Bat Sarah, Anya Bat Bega Riva, Yeshaya Pesach Bat Raquel Masha, Ellie Springer. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam Kabalik.
Mark Suckman, Sherry and Larry Blank and Fran.
Thank you. Other names, those of you on Zoom. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishlach lehem b'mheira refuat hanefesh v'refuat haguf b'toch shach l'shil v'nomar amen. May the All-Merciful restore these people to full health and to full vigor, along with all others who are struggling with illness, and let us say amen. Before we say our prayer for the state of Israel, a prayer for the United States, Harachaman hu yevarchet artzot habrit v'yagen aleha. May God bless the United States of America and protect her. And before we do our blessing for Israel, let us share this from Stan Schroeder. Thank you, Stan. Researchers at the Technion Institute announced that they've developed a man-made ear implant that functions just as the same as a normal ear. The team combined organ printing, tissue engineering, and extraction of human cells to generate a custom ear, with the goal of being able to replace ears that don't develop properly in the womb. And the new creation will hopefully prove useful for children born with microtia, a condition that results in underdeveloped, small, or malformed ears at birth. And they are hoping that this new procedure could also be tailored to other applications, such as nasal reconstruction and fabrication of various orthopedic implants. So wonderful things happening out of Israel. Let us arise. And as we say the prayer for the state of Israel, Ed, if you can make your way up here, and Mo for the Hagba and Galila. Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzur Yisrael, B'go Allah, Mareh, Yisrael, Reshit Tzmicha, Eitz Chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar Derachecha darchei noam v'chol netivoteh Shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashu Kadesh Kadesh Yameinu Kadesh Yameinu Keketem. Let us remain standing for Musaf. You can follow along at the bottom of page 21. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yamad yivrachi rutei v'yimichmachu tei b'chayeichon u'v'yomeichon u'v'chayedecho beit Yisrael Gagala bagala uvizman kariv v'yimeru amen Yeshmei rabba mivorach liolam liolmei olmayap Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Vishtabach, Vipar, Vitrama, Miraseh, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shemedi Kudisha, Berichu, Leila, Mikober Chata, Vishirata, Dus Bechata, Venetemata, Tamiran Dialma, Vimeruah. We face Jerusalem. We back up 3 small steps and then 3 steps forward, and we bow. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'konei Hakol V'zocher Chasdei Avot Umevi Goel Lifnei V'neihem Leman Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham, Atagi Burli Olam Adonai, Mechaye Metim Atarav Loshia, Michalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim. Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem, Emunato Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bal Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimitu Mechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, the Nemana Talachayot Metim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaMetim, Naritzcha v'nakedishcha kesotziach, Tzarfei Kodesh HaMakedishim, Shimcha BaKodesh, Kakatuv Ayad Nevi'echa, V'kara Ze'el Zeh v'yamar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivot, Meloch ol haaretz kevodo, kevodo malei malei olam. Tav shoalim, shoalim zelazeh, aye mikom, mikom kevodo, aye mikom, mikom kevodo, liumatam baruch yomeru, baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo. Mimikomo yifen berachamim v'yachonam hamyachadim shemo erev avoker bechol yom tamid pamayim v'yava shema omrim Nai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Oh Eloheinu Avinu Malkeinu. Oh Avinu, oh Malkeinu, oh Moshienu, Vehu Yashmienu Berachamav, Shenit Liene Kochai, Vehu Yashmienu Berachamav, Shenit Liene Kochai, Liot Lachem Lalohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Uvdivrei Koshecha Katuv Lemor, Yimloch Adonai Leolam, Elohayich Tzion, Ledor Vador, Hallelujah. Ledor Vador Nagid Godlecha, Lenesach Nesachim Kedushatcha Nakdish, Meshivchacha Eloheinu, Mepinu Liyam Mushli Olam Va'ed, Kilmelch Gadol V'Kadosh Ata, Baruch Ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. We're at the bottom of page 23. By the way, did I repeat some words there? Did I do the women, the mothers twice? That was by design, by the way. The weekend before Father's Day, when mothers feel neglected, even though they just had a Mother's Day, there's a Jewish tradition that says you repeat their name twice when you do the Amidah. My Yismechu b'malechutecha shamrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat Yismechu b'malechutecha shamrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei Shvi Shabbat Kulam Nishbu Vidangu Mituvecha Shabbat Yismechu B'malechutecha Shomrei 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 Shabbat V'korei Oneg Shabbat Yismechu B'malechutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Uvashvi'i ratzita bo v'gidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamimoto karata, zecher l'maseh v'reishit. And now, before we chant our concluding prayers, we'll call on our president, Jordan Pistol, for some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. As you know, we usually start in September with our Shabbat services and continue through till June. So there's a set number of Shabbat services. Curiously enough, there are a set number of announcements. And apparently this week, there are fewer announcements than we have Shabbats. So our announcements are, there are some announcements. We are restoring our committees meetings, the Gang of Four committees, which will be on Wednesday, June 15th at 7:30 via Zoom. So the only personal appearances in your own home. Our last Shabbat service prior to our vacation will be on June 25th at 10:30 a.m. in person here in Rita's room and Zoom for the wall people. But when we go on vacation, be sure to check your mail in July and August for our membership renewal packets. And high holy days are coming up on us, as they always do, as well as plans for the barbecue and Baruch. And also, I would like to remind you all that as Harvey has reached his 100th birthday, now begins his plan for the palace coup and to retake over the presidency. And if he tries, I will fight him tooth and nail. Yeah, sure, of course. Does anybody have anything else that's more important than what I said? Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Jordan. Let us join together in Ein Keloheinu, page 24. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kimokeinu, Ein Kimoshienu, Michel Eloheinu, Kadoneinu, Michem Mokeinu, Michem Moshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Ladoneinu, Nodel Mokeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Makeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adoneinu, Atahu Makeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Please rise. Aleinu l'shameach l'Adonai, Mateinu l'aliotzer breishi, Shelo asanu k'gayei ha'aratzot, Velo samanu k'mishbechot ha'adama, Shelo sam chalkeinu kahem, V'gor aleinu k'chol Shamayim v'yosera, Moshe v'torov hashamayim v'ma'ah, Ushchinatu zo, Ushchinatu zo, V'gavhei meromim, Hu Eloheinu re'einu, Eget malkeinu epesurato, Shakatu b'torato, Yadanta yom ne'ashemota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, B'shamayim v'ma'am, V'ha'aretz mitachat, Ein od, Ein od. V'nemar b'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, Vayom ahu yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad. Please be seated. However, if you are in mourning or observing yahrzeit, remain standing as we observe these yahrzeits of the coming 2 weeks. Zichronam livracha. Dora Cherney, Madeline Allen, Claire Halperin, Janice Gail Schneer, Stephen Feynman, Albert Kaufman, Louis Irving Bass, Connor Rachel Selman. Are there any names that we have neglected? Judy? Okay. Okay, sure. Any other names that we have neglected? The mourner's Kaddish is on page 25. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah. V'yalma divrachi rutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kari v'yamaru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach li'olam u'l'omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechamata da'amiran bi'alma v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen.
Please be seated. Immediately after services, we are invited to the Kiddush in honor of Harvey's 100th birthday. And we're going to conclude our service today, this lovely service, with Adon Olam, page 26.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'ed Nasa, B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra, V'acharei, Yekos Hakol, Levado, Yimloch Torah, Hu Haya, Vehu Oveh, Vehu Yeh B'Tifahara.
Very nice. So interesting. Yeah. So I don't know what to do. I mean,
I'm going to have you guys with us. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Maybe we'll do